Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, we're heading to Elturel, the city of two suns. Sounds kind of idyllic, right?
Well, you know how it is with these deep dives. Never quite as straightforward as they seem.
Definitely more hellish than idyllic, actually. We're talking angels, devils, a whole city yanked into the first layer of hell. The works.
Buckle up, it's a wild ride.
That's for sure. So, how does a seemingly holy city like Elturel end up in a mess like that? And what's the deal with those famous Hellriders? We're going to try to find out.
I think one of the things that makes this story so interesting is how it clashes with what people think they know about Elturel. This reputation for holy warriors and then, well, this whole other side to the city.
Yeah. It's not exactly sunshine and roses, is it?
Nope, not at all.
So where should we start? I mean, Elturel before all the devils came knocking.
Yeah.
It had to start somewhere.
Oh, definitely. Humble beginnings, trading hub on the River Keonthar, strategic location, built on a bluff, you see. So provided natural protection, and of course right on those trade routes. Bustling markets, caravans, that sort of thing.
So even in his early days, it was kind of set up for success. But what about those Hellriders? They weren't always fighting demons, were they?
Well, they've always been Elturel's elite cavalry, its protectors. But think less hellfire and brimstone, and more like protecting farmers from bandits, keeping those nasty monsters at bay. Really more about protecting everyday life.
Okay, I get that. Guardians, keeping the peace. But where does the hell come in? You don't get a name like Hellriders without a good story, do you?
You're absolutely right. There are these whispers of a legend, a tale about Elturel's warriors. They went up against something, well, something truly infernal.
Ooh, sounds ominous.
Some say it was a raid into Avernus, the first layer of hell. Others claim they were running from something, trying to escape some terrifying threat.
So was it a heroic venture into hell or a desperate flight from a demonic horde?
That's the mystery. The details are hazy, lost to time. Which is, I think, key to understand who the Hellriders really are. Are they heroes who stared into the abyss and lived to tell the tale? Or are they haunted by something they encountered? Something that, well, that branded them with the name Hellriders.
Yeah, that ambiguity is really fascinating. Makes you wonder what they're hiding, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Speaking of things that go bump in the night, let's talk about Zariel. Now, we're talking about an angel, right? But she's obsessed with ending the blood war. That's not exactly typical angel behavior, is it?
You have to understand the Blood War to understand Zariel. It's this endless conflict, brutal, between devils and demons. It's been raging for eons. And Zariel believed she had the answer. A decisive strike. A massive angelic assault. She was convinced she could finally end it.
So she basically went rogue, figuring she knew better than the higher-ups in the seven heavens.
Oh, absolutely. And she was certain, so certain, that she went to Elturel to make it happen. Imagine this. A powerful angel appears before the city, rallies an army. These devout, mortal warriors, ready to fight for a cause they believed in. Zariel trained them, prepared them for a campaign straight into Avernus.
So this is where the ride comes in, that legendary charge into hell.
Exactly, the ride. Inspiring and terrifying all at once. Imagine it. Mortal warriors, alongside an angel, marching into the fiery depths of Avernus.
And they probably weren't prepared for what they found there.
Oh, they faced unimaginable horrors, rivers of blood, legions of devils, a landscape twisted by fire and torment.
I bet a lot of those warriors had second thoughts once they saw what they were up against.
And they did. They say many warriors fled, overwhelmed. They retreated back through the portal to the material plane and sealed it shut.
Trapping those who remained.
Including Zariel, leaving them to face the horrors of Avernus alone.
Hold on. Are you saying that those celebrated Hellriders in Elturel are the survivors who abandoned their leader and comrades in hell?
That's the legend. Think about it. The shame, the guilt. Knowing you left your angelic leader, Zariel, to that fate. That's their legacy. Heroes on the surface, but haunted by something they can never escape.
Wow. That really changes how you see those crimson and white uniforms, doesn't it? It's not just armor, it's a constant reminder.
Every clang of their armor, every creak of leather, must echo with the memory of that retreat.
So they're trapped in this cycle of guilt and shame, forever tied to their actions. Or, I guess, their inaction.
Exactly. And we haven't even touched on the companion yet. You know, that second son that showed up above Elturel, supposedly a divine blessing?
Oh yeah, that's right. There's always more to the story, isn't there?
Let's just say things aren't always what they seem. When the companion appeared, well, it was seen as a miracle, bathed Elturel in this perpetual daylight, banished the shadows, and there was this real threat, you see. A vampire lord who almost took over the city.
A vampire lord, huh? Talk about adding insult to injury.
Exactly. But then the second son just shows up. Even in a world with magic, that's got to raise some eyebrows, right?
No kidding. What did people think was going on?
Oh, it was seen as a gift from the gods. This incredible sign of divine favor fueled a huge surge in religious fervor. People really believed that Elturel was blessed.
I can see why they'd think that. But we know better, don't we?
Oh, yeah. That shimmering light, the symbol of hope. It was hiding a much darker truth.
Okay, lay it on me. What was the real story?
Well, remember Zariel, trapped in Avernus?
Oh, yeah, how could I forget?
Even in that hellscape, she was busy making deals, forging tax. And the companion, it wasn't a gift from the gods, it was a captive planetar.
Hold on. A what now?
A planetar, a powerful angel imprisoned by Zariel, bound to Elturel as part of a pact.
Okay, you're gonna have to back up a sec. Planetar. That doesn't sound like any angel I've ever heard of.
Think of it this way. It's an angel, but like supercharged. Planetars are warriors, strategists, beings of pure, radiant energy. I mean, they're practically living weapons in the fight against evil.
Okay, so Zariel, stuck in hell, somehow manages to snag one of these super angels and bind it to Elturel. But who would make a deal like that with a fallen angel?
That would be Thavius Krieg, the High Observer of Elturel. He was desperate, terrified. Remember that vampire lord? Well, Krieg saw the companion as a shield, a divine protector.
So he went for the quick fix, huh? Didn't think about the long-term consequences.
That's one way to put it. You see, Krieg's pact with Azariel. It was a masterpiece of infernal manipulation. Krieg got what he wanted. Protection. A shiny symbol of hope. But that hope came at a steep price. Elturel's eventual fall into Avernus.
And I bet Krieg knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, Krieg was long gone by the time Elturel fell, vanished, left the citizens to face the consequences. They paid the price for his fear.
And the Hellriders. Talk about being caught between a rock and a hard place. They survived one betrayal in Avernus, and then their city is dragged into that same hellscape. What a nightmare.
It's a cruel twist of fate, isn't it? Now they're ruled by the very devil they abandoned.
The source of their shame.
Exactly.
Man, I can't imagine what that must feel like. To know that their city is trapped because of a pact with a fallen angel that they left behind.
It really adds another layer to their burden, doesn't it?
Definitely. Makes you think.
It raises so many questions. Are they trying to make things right? To atone? Or have they given up completely?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But this whole thing, it's like their name is cursed.
It really is. And all of this is even before we get to what life was like under the companion. Before the fall, I mean, imagine living in a city where the sun never sets.
I can't even wrap my head around that. Did they even sleep?
It must have been strange, challenging. The inns had to hang these heavy cloths over their windows, so people could actually sleep.
That makes sense, I guess. But what about daily life? Did people just work all the time?
Well, the bells would ring to signal the end of the workday. The sun wasn't exactly reliable for telling time anymore, was it?
Right. Elturel was running on a totally different rhythm. And all because of this fake sun hanging overhead. I bet that had a huge impact on the culture.
It did. The companion became the center of everything, literally, figuratively. A city bathed in light, a symbol of divine favor. It's easy to see how it could create a sense of, well, exceptionalism. People started to believe that Elturel was special, chosen.
Blinding them to the danger, I guess.
Exactly. And it's a powerful reminder that appearances can be deceiving, especially when you're dealing with, well, with the infernal powers of the Nine Hells. But speaking of deception and things not being as they seem, there's one more piece to this puzzle we haven't even touched on.
Oh, and what's that?
Lulu.
Lulu, who's that? Another fallen angel.
Oh, nothing like that. Lulu, Zariel's faithful war elephant.
Wait, hold up. A war elephant.
Mm.
And she's still alive. In hell.
Somehow, yes. She followed Zariel into Avernus, and here's the crazy part. She can still talk to her.
This deep dive just got a whole lot more interesting. So what? This elephant just strolled into hell with her angel buddy and decided to stick around.
Well, we don't know all the details, but Lulu is an important part of this story. Not just because she's an amazing creature, but because she represents a connection to Zariel's past. You see, Lulu remembers Zariel before the fall, before she became a devil.
So even after being corrupted by hell, there's still a part of Zariel that remembers who she was.
It seems that way. And the fact that Lulu can still communicate with her, well, it suggests that maybe there's a spark of that old Zariel still in there.
A spark of good.
Maybe.
But what does that mean for Elturel? For the Hellriders, I mean, is there any hope for them at all?
Lulu. She's like a flicker of light in a very dark place, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe even in hell, change is possible.
Maybe. But what about Elturel and the Hellriders? I mean, their whole existence, it's built on this foundation of guilt and betrayal.
It's true, and now they're stuck in Avernus.
Right.
Ruled by the devil they abandoned.
Right. And facing all the horrors that come with that.
Exactly. So where does that leave them?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, there's still the Hellriders, right? They're still warriors.
Yeah.
But are they trying to protect Elturel even now in this hellscape?
It's hard to say, but think about it. Those Hellriders, in their crimson and white armor, patrolling the streets of a city ruled by the very devil they left behind, every step must be a reminder, a heavy weight on their souls.
Yeah. It's like their past is literally haunting them.
Exactly. And they're not just dealing with their own failures, right?
Yeah.
They're facing the horrors of Avernus itself.
The place where even angels fear to tread.
Right. So are they seeking redemption? Are they trying to protect the people of Elturel even in this hellscape? Or have they succumbed to the darkness?
I don't even want to think about that.
It's a lot to process.
It really is, this whole story.
Yeah.
It's like one giant cautionary tale.
It is. It's a reminder that even in a world where angels and devils exist, it's human choices that have the biggest impact. Human failings.
Yeah. Choices and consequences.
Yeah.
Redemption and damnation.
Exactly.
Well, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into Elturel, the city of two suns.
A city with quite a story.
That's for sure. But before we go, I have to ask, if even a celestial being like Zariel can fall from grace, can be tempted by power and ultimately succumb to darkness, what does that say about the potential for good and evil in all of us?
It's a question worth considering, isn't it?
Definitely. It reminds us that the line between light and shadow, it's not always so clear. And that even in the face of incredible darkness, there's always hope. A chance for redemption, if we choose to see it.
Well said.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning. And remember, every city has its secrets, every hero has their flaws, and even in the depths of hell, there are stories waiting to be uncovered.